Yo, what's going on everyone? With the MML just recently ending, it is time for a new draft league. I have joined the EBA, the Evolutionary Battle Arena, I believe. And yeah, this is going to be the first draft league for the Indigo Disk DLC. So all the new mons are here, so it's going to be a ton of fun, and I'm super excited for it. We have a lot of the guys that were in the MML in this league also, so that should be fun also. It's going to be very competitive, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. But for today, I'm going through my draft analysis. And yeah, we're just going to talk about the mons I picked and why, pretty much. So I had the 14th pick overall, which is the last pick in the draft. So obviously that means, you know, you can see it as like bad, but you get the will pick. So it's honestly pretty good. And with how many good mons there are, it's actually, I'll take that for sure. It's not a bad place to be in the draft at all. So as you can see, with my first overall pick, I went with Archaludon. I so wanted to get one of the new DLC mons, and you know, with Gouging Fire, Iron Boulder, stuff like that already taken, I felt Archaludon was the next best thing I could take. And I don't know if it's considered a round 1 mon or not, but like I said, I will anyway, so I was totally happy to take this first overall, because honestly I just want to try it. Like, I have not had too much practice with the new mons yet, but from what I can see, this mon's very good, so I'm definitely looking forward to using it. Obviously you can see it's base 125 special attack, that is through the roof, absolutely insane. 130 defense, which is incredible also. 90 HP. Like, this thing has really solid bulk. Obviously its SPDEF isn't the greatest. You can make up for that with things like Assault Vest, so not too big of a deal. And 85 speed isn't bad at all. You could even make this a Scarfer if you wanted to. There's a lot of things this mon can do. And like I said, while I haven't had much practice with them, I'm just looking through the sets and stuff, the moves. Yeah, this thing has a lot it can do. Obviously, it has the ability Stamina, which makes it really nice. Every time it gets hit by an attack, it will get a defense boost, which can pair really well. This thing gets Iron Defense also. You can make it great in that sense. Body Press, which obviously is going to be incredible coming off its base 130 defense. And yeah, like I said, combined with that special attack stat, stuff like Draco Meteor, Flash Cannons, it's going to be a problem for sure. And obviously this thing gets the new exclusive move for it, Electro Shot, which is basically an electric type meteor beam that gives you a +1 special attack boost. The only thing with it is it does take a turn to charge, so unless you're using Power Herb or you're in the rain, then it's going to take 2 turns. But as the draft goes on, you'll see how I paired this thing. So yeah, I think this is a really good first overall pick. Obviously Sturdy as well is a nice ability also. Can live any hit you want it to, and also this thing gets Stealth Rocks as well, which is really nice. So for my second overall pick, I went with Latias, which, while it is double dragons to open the draft, they actually complement each other pretty nicely. Obviously Archaludon weak to fighting, Lati resists that, Archaludon weak to ground, and Lati's immune to that. So they pair pretty well here. Base 110 speed is really solid for the team. 130 special defense. This thing is better specially defensive, whereas Archaludon is better physically defensive. And yeah, I mean, you know what the Lati does. Base 110 special attack. This thing hits like crazy. And obviously this Indigo Disk DLC, it did get access to Draining Kiss, which I think is huge for it. Like, that's a huge buff. Carmine Draining Kiss, stuff like that. You can even do agility on this thing. And then obviously has access to reliable recovery in Recover. So I mean, there's a lot of creative things you can do with Lati. It obviously has incredible coverage also. So yeah, I think this pairs pretty well for my first 2 picks, and I'm really excited to use Lati. I've never used Lati and super looking forward to using it. I think I can do a lot of creative things with Lati this season. Very versatile mon. Next up, so I had will pick. I had to wait all the way for it to go back down the draft and then all the way back to me. So while this is my third pick, it's essentially round 4, which is why I was super surprised Meowscarada was not taken. So I had to take it. Like, this mon definitely should go first or second round in my opinion. So the fact that it's still there practically in round 4 is crazy. So yeah, definitely had to pick this up. You know how good Meowscarada is. Base 123 speed gives me an elite speed tier, which is very important in draft. Speed is huge in draft. 110 attack, hits strong. And yeah, Meowscarada is just so good. I mean, obviously has hazards in spikes, which is really good. Has pivoting in U-turn, has the ability to knock off, which is very good this generation. And also with this Indigo Disk, it does now get access to triple axle, which I think is actually really nice for it. And then obviously with its ability Protein, that can be really solid in getting the boosts and stuff, but you don't have to go Protein, can also go Overgrow, because in some cases it's better to not go Protein, of course. But yeah, I mean, this mon's pretty self-explanatory. It kind of gives me everything I need with this team. Gives me a Dark type, which is important, I think. Also with Latias being weak to Ghost and Dark, this will resist it. Obviously not the bulkiest mon, but still able to resist that, which is nice. And Meowscarada's fighting weakness is resisted by Lati. So yeah, I just had to take this. The fact that it was still there, I had to. So yeah, I think we have a really solid 3 so far. A bit weak to Fairy at this point, although Archaludon is a Steel type, so that's why I decided to go with Galarian Weezing. Like I said, a bit Fairy weak at this point, so Galarian Weezing is obviously a really nice resist to that Poison. This thing has 3 of the best abilities you can have in Draft, in Levitate, Neutralizing Gas, and Misty Surge. Neutralizing Gas can come in so handy in just not having to worry about opponents' abilities that can be problematic. Levitate obviously removes its ground weakness, and then Misty Surge can be cool. So certain things cannot get status, and also I could even run it with like Misty Seed on one of my Pokemon to boost its SPDF. Like I was thinking Misty Seed Archaludon with Iron Defense, that could be a really nice combination there. So yeah, this gives me a really nice defensive mon, which is important I felt at this point, and then also gives me a grounded poison. Obviously with Levitate it won't be a grounded poison, but if I run one of the other abilities, this is a really solid grounded poison, which I think it is huge to have in Draft. You need a grounded poison. And then like I said, also gives me a Fairy, so not only am I helping myself against the Fairy weakness, but then also the Dragon weakness also. This is one of the better Fairies you could get this generation, so super happy with that. And hits strong as well, base 85 special attack. Definitely still hits strong, and then also gives me access to T-Spikes, which I really like. I mean, Meowscarada also has that, so now we have 2, which is really cool. So this is a really good complement to my team, I think. As well as giving me some hazard removal, as this thing has Defog, which, you know, this league's rules, unlike MML, are a bit better, I would say. So you're not restricted to one item. So hazard removal is not quite as important in this league when you can run multiple heavy duty boots, but still you need to have some sort of reliable hazard removal, so this thing having defog is really solid. For my 5th pick, I decided to go with Terrakion. I wanted a super strong physical breaker, so that's exactly what we got here. Base 129 attack. I'm so happy that Terrakion is back. It's such a cool mon, and yeah, to have it back this generation is so hype. Base 108 speed also, really good speed, gives me something to outspeed the base 100s. And yeah, like I said, I picked this thing up to hit hard, which is exactly what it does. With close combat, Stone Edge, hits like an absolute truck, which is saying I needed it at this point. Also has Justified, which could come in handy. Someone wants to hit Laddie super effectively, I could go straight into this and get the attack boost. And yeah, obviously has access to SD, which can make it even scarier. Gives me another rocker, which is nice. Probably not going to use rocks in this too often, but you know, there are definitely situations where you can threaten something out and get your rocks up. And also this thing's defenses aren't even that bad. Also gives me a really nice Scarfer as well, which I like. So yeah, really happy with this. Obviously is adding to my Fairy weakness a bit, but as long as we hit Stone Edge, hopefully we should be good. So for my 6th pick, I went with Sandaconda. This is one of my Terra Captains. I probably should have put it on the graphic, but that's fine. This is one of my Terra Captains, and yeah, I saw Mephisto use this in the SBL last season, and he went absolutely crazy with it. I believe it was the kill leader of the entire league, which is wild to think about. Yeah, I needed a ground type at this point, and this is a really solid ground type. Also gives me a super reliable rocker, which I like. And this thing is like super annoying. With access to Glare, Coil, Rest combined with Shed Skin, like this thing can be a huge problem. And yeah, gives me something else really solid defensively to go along with wheezing. And something else that is a bonus, I guess, this thing has a sand spit, which can give my Terrakion a defense boost, which would be pretty nice. So yeah, it has 2 really solid abilities there. And just going to be super annoying for my opponent because I did make this my Terra Captain. It has access to Terra Ground as its main Terra type. Obviously, you're locked into that. And then I also gave it Terra Water and Terra Fairy because those are really solid defensive typings that are going to make it really hard for my opponent. Like I said, super annoying with Coil and Glare. Reliable rocker, and yeah, just I needed a ground type at this point, so this worked really, really nicely and makes a cool combination with Terrakion as well. Alright, next up, I hinted at this at the beginning, but I have gone for Pelipper for rain support, mainly for Archaludon because I want to try Electro Shot in the rain, not have to worry about it charging or using Power Herb or anything. So I really like Pelipper for that reason. Obviously also it's just a nice mod in general. Decent defensively, has reliable recovery and roost, no longer has access to defog like it used to, but still all around a solid mon that I like. I didn't have a water type at this point or a flying type, so it suits in that regard as well. Also weakens the fire type damage for my Meowscarada, which is cool. Also you can do cool things with it like Scarf Specs, which is nice. And I have used a rain team before with Pelipper in the past, so I'm looking forward to using it again. Next up, I have no idea how this mon was still here in round 8. It's ridiculous. I was going to take it with my first overall pick, but ended up going Archaludon plus Laddie, so the fact that Spectra was still here in round 8 was crazy. It was like the only top point mon that was still there. I couldn't believe nobody had taken it. I was originally going to go like Pelipper plus Barrascuda in the rain, but I had a much more fun idea that I wanted to go with, and that involved going for Spectra here. Obviously this mon is insane. I mean, in a lot of leagues it is banned. 130 speed is crazy, 145 special attack is through the roof. I mean, 100 HP with 80 Spadef isn't even that bad, and obviously has the ability Grimnay, which essentially is like Magina's ability, gets the special attack boost when you knock out a mon, so that's crazy. And this thing does have access to Draining Kiss now, which is super helpful for dealing with the dark types that would otherwise be a big problem for it. So I could not believe it was here at this point. Like I said, this gives me my fastest mon on the team. We now have this at 130 and then Meow at 123. So my speed's looking really good at this point, and this has been a mon I have wanted to try. So the fact I got it round 8, I didn't expect it to be there, but I mean, that was just a really big bonus at this point. So super hyped to be using this mon this season. Alright, so as I previously mentioned, I was going to go for Pelipper plus Barrascuda for a rain combination, but I decided this is going to be so much more fun. So I've decided to go with Beartic here for the nice combination with Pelipper. Obviously, this thing you do see with Slush Rush in the hail, but also has Swift Swim, so it can get that same speed boost from the rain also. Obviously won't get the defense boost that it would get from snow, but still gets a speed boost. So I thought this was a really cool combination, and this thing can Terra, whereas Barrascuda could not. So 130 base attack is absolutely crazy. I saw Kyle use this last season in the SPL and he did insane with it. And yeah, like I said, this will be my Terra Captain, so I've gone ahead and given it Electric and Ground as its 2 Terra types, obviously making it even more scary offensively. With Electric, you can take care of the water types that would otherwise be a bit of a problem, the bulky waters, and then Ground also gives you that boosted Earthquake to deal with some of those steel types that are bulkier also. So I was super happy to get this thing at this point. I'm so excited to use this as a Terra Captain, and I actually think it's going to put in a lot of work this season. Even though it's base 50 speed in the rain, it will still be able to outspeed the likes of Dragapult, which is super fun. So looking forward to this. Next up, I decided to go for Ampharos here. I love Ampharos, such a cool mon, so cute. And its shiny is amazing. This thing was only 2 points, which is crazy. I think that's an absolute steal. The fact that I had enough points left over to also make this a Terra Captain for 2 points, I think that is super good. Like 115 special attack is really solid, 90 HP, 90 special defense, 85 defense. Its defenses aren't even that bad at all. The only thing that's really a problem is its speed, but this thing does get agility, and like I said, this will be a Terramon for me, so I've gone ahead and made it Terra Ice and Terra Flying. Ice obviously is going to be really helpful for the ground types that would trouble it, and then Flying, I went for a more defensive typing, obviously getting rid of its only weakness in ground and can make it much better defensively. Like Flying's a pretty decent typing defensively, so I think that makes for a really nice combination with its Terra being able to go both offensive and defensive, because it can be used both ways, I think, and can really throw my opponent off in that sense, because it could go either way. So yeah, I think there's a lot of fun stuff I could do with this mon this season, and I think it's actually really slept on. The fact that I got it for 2 points, I think it's an absolute steal. So for my final pick, I went with the honorary mascot this season, Lechonk. I'm so happy to get Lechonk. This thing was 1 point. I had 1 point left, so it only made sense to go for Lechonk. I could have gone for something like Cricketoon to get webs, but Lechonk is absolutely broken. You guys know that. This is probably the best mon on the entire team, honestly. This thing's crazy, and I'm obviously going to make it shiny because shiny Lechonk is so cute. I love the pink. And yeah, I saw Amel put in work with Lechonk against Roaring Moon with the play rough and stuff. That was so fun to watch. I loved that. And yeah, I mean, honestly, honorary mascot, like I said, so cute, and I had to have it on the team because I think it really completes the team as a whole, and I love Lechonk so much. It's one of my favorite mons, so had to pick it up for my final pick here. And that is going to conclude my draft for this season. Honestly, I'm super happy with it. I got pretty much everything I wanted, didn't really get sniped at all, and I feel like this team covers everything really well, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I went for mons that I thought were going to be fun and I would enjoy using this season, so yeah, that's what I went for here, and honestly, I think it worked out really well. Don't really plan to make any trades like I did last season in the MML. That team was a bit off at the beginning, especially with their rule set, so I had to change it up, but honestly, really happy with how this team turned out. Like, I have good hazards, obviously only the one removal option in Wheezing, but it's a great removal option at that, and I think my speed is really good on this team. Like I said, Spectria base 130, then you have Meow at 123, then Laddie at 110, and then Terrakion at 108, and then from there, I believe it drops to Archaladon, right? Yeah, Archaladon, but I also have Beartic that can be in the rain, so a lot of good speed options on this team, which I think is very important in draft also. And yeah, obviously we have good hazards in Meow, Wheezing, Sandaconda, even Terrakion and Archaladon, so yeah, definitely looking forward to this season. Like I said, we've got a lot of good people in this league, so the competition is going to be high, and I think it's going to be an absolute blast. I hope you guys are excited for the uploads. I will be uploading all season like I did with the MML, so I look forward to bringing you guys week 1 next week against Sin. We've got the rematch of the quarterfinals from last season, so that should be fun, and yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you for that. Peace.